Hey everybody, Mental Fox here. About 2 weeks ago, I posted a video on my channel about an experiment that I wanted to try. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I'll post a link to that video here. That video resulted in a lot of comments, and I really enjoyed reading the comments. And I thought that maybe it would be fun if I made a video where I responded to some of the comments, answered some of your questions, and just talked about some of the things that were talked about in the comments. So that's what we're going to do in this video that turned out to be way longer than I thought it was going to be. This is with, well, probably the most elaborate video that I've ever put together for my channel. Maybe. I don't know. I put a lot of work into it. It's way longer than I thought, but I hope you enjoy it. Here we go. First of all, I wanted to say thank you. Thank you for all of the nice comments you left. So many of you shared what you like about the way I play my Let's Plays, such as I don't rush through the game, I explore, I take my time to stop and read and listen while playing, or, how I'm like usually pretty chill and I don't scream and yell like a lot of other YouTubers. Many of you shared stories on how you found my channel and what made you decide to stick around. Thanks for sharing those stories. I really enjoy reading those. It's one thing that I'm like super curious about all the time is how do people find my channel and what makes them decide to stick around. So a lot of you shared that with me, so I really appreciate that. I received quite a few comments that expressed concerns about abandoning or changing my blind Let's Play style. Let me assure you that my Let's Plays will continue to be blind. The only difference is that I may do a bit of research before beginning a new series, and in the case of Baldur's Gate 3, I may play an hour or two of the game before beginning the recording of the series. But after that, it's pretty much blind, just like all of my other Let's Plays. And I say pretty much because I do plan on cutting out some painful mechanics learning sections. For example, there was a recent Baldur's Gate 3 episode where right at the start of the episode, I had to figure out how to dip a weapon in fire. And it took me a few tries to figure it out, so I just ended up cutting out the part where I was fumbling around and, all the trial and error stuff. I think that'll reduce the amount of, what do I do moments and make for a better viewing experience. I'll also be taking notes after each episode so that I can refer back to them as I play. But as far as my experience of the game and the story, it will still be very much blind. You will get to see, and hear me experience the game as I play it. So still very much blind. I hope that addresses your concerns, and I hope that you'll continue to watch my videos. Many of you shared your own theories as to why my videos don't get many views, and some of you had suggestions on how I could improve views. And it seems like they fell into like 4 categories, at least as far as theories as to why my videos don't get views. A couple people talked about video length, in each video being like nearly an hour long. I'll talk about that here in a moment. Quite a few people brought up the series length, 300 episodes of Skyrim. I'll talk about that here in a bit. Quite a few people mentioned the types of games that I play, and I'll address some of those comments here. And also quite a few people talked about my play style. So if you are interested, I'm going to address some of these comments individually. So that, for one, I am reading your comments, and 2, they're just things that I want to share with you that you may or may not know. So yeah, let's get right to it. Viewer Guzibishskani says something else to ruminate over, and it's quite global, and I'm not sure if you could do anything about it. Because of the format of your channel, inevitably, most of the videos will be quite long, 30 to 60 minutes, if not more. In the era of short videos being pushed left, right, and center at people, not everyone is willing to commit to an entire series of Let's Plays. Totally understand that. When I started this channel, that was something that I was quite concerned with. In fact, if you've been with my channel from the very start, I used to post 20-minute episodes, although it was really 1 hour episodes split into 3 20-minute episodes, but still, I did post shorter videos at first. Similarly, this viewer says the YouTube algorithm is not the reason your videos are receiving few views, considering the amount of subscribers. The reason is because almost all the videos on the channel are 40 plus minutes long and part of a Let's Play series. Nowadays, with people so busy, few have the time in the day to commit to a Let's Play series. I mean, that's also maybe true, but to both of these comments about video length, I point you to somebody like the very popular Christopher Odd, who does Let's Plays. And if you look here, you'll see that, his videos are, an hour or longer, and they're getting, thousands of views. Now, yes, of course, he has way more subscribers than I do, but I'm just saying that it is possible to post videos that are 45 minutes to an hour or even longer and still get many views. So I don't think that the length of my videos are the reason for a low view count. Quite a few people mentioned how long my series are, how many videos are in a series, and how that could contribute to low view counts. Sedgebo 8000 Gaming says, I make very similar content to you, and it seems that YouTube or viewers don't like longer Let's Plays. I noticed that my first couple of videos of each Let's Play do well, and then lose views the longer it goes on. I've certainly found that to be the case on my channel. Let's take a look at Star Trek Resurgence, a series that I posted recently. You can see that episode 1 has over 5,000 views. Episode 2 has half that, and then episode 3 has even less. 5 and 6 are up here, strangely, but the point is that it is true. The longer a series goes on, the less views it tends to get. That's probably true of everybody's videos. So I don't think that view drop off in a video series is unique to my channel, and I also don't think there's really anything I could do about it except for play shorter games so that I'm so that I'm starting new series more often, and therefore I have more part ones which get more views, and that's certainly one way to do it. But I also want to play what I want to play, and it seems like the games that I want to play are longer games. So that is something that I'm just going to have to accept, that the bigger the game, the longer the series will be, and views will drop off as I play the series. Several people mentioned that it's the type of games that I play which result in low viewer count. Charlie Zard says, I would just recommend playing more of shorter types of games, especially retro. Sylvia A says, play games that are at their top popularity now to gain views. Velvet Queen 823 says, you just have to play more mainstream games like Resident Evil 8 or Dying Light. DD3552 says, if you want to increase the number of views, try playing some top or popular games that many are interested in. Fayez says, the solution is to pick really fun and engaging games, right? Your last games played were kind of boring and not epic. SR4381 says, maybe sometimes you can play super popular new games to help attract more viewers. Jam Gordine says, I do think that hitting on some more commercial games and plowing through some quickly will make your channel more appealing. Suspected Crab says, I think covering the big name games when they are released is also important. So yeah, the types of games I choose to play is also something that I spend some time thinking about. Playing the big name games certainly makes sense because they're the games that people are most interested in and are going to be searched for the most, such as the Fallout games when they come out, Baldur's Gate 3, Starfield coming up. Those are games that are super popular, everybody's excited about, and people are generally going to, since more people are interested in them, there's going to be more searches for those. However, the more popular and hyped the game is, the more Let's Plays there will be for that game. So there's more competition, right? And then as far as like smaller games, like maybe the Star Trek Resurgence that I played, or maybe even Dave the Diver, smaller games, you might think, well, I'll play this game and form, a niche, that maybe not many other people are playing this game, so people will find my channel since I'm playing it. But since it's not a very popular game, not as many people are searching for that game, so that's less people that would come to the channel. So it's kind of like damned if you do, damned if you don't. Super popular games do bring in more viewers, but there's more competition, whereas less popular games don't have as much competition, but there's not as much viewers. So I've just basically decided to play the games that I'm interested in, and just with that regard, let the cards fall where they may. And then I've had quite a few people mention my play style specifically. And this is something that I did touch on in that video, that I think that my style of play maybe doesn't appeal to a wider audience. And by that, I mean, I mentioned earlier about forgetting things as I'm playing, fumbling around trying to figure out mechanics, maybe, not being very adventurous with how I play the game. These are things that I think probably do turn people off. And I would say that out of the four main categories of theories as to why my channel doesn't get very many views, I think that play style is probably the one that I could really do something about. Video length, we know that other YouTubers, Let's Players have videos as long as or longer than mine. They still get thousands of views. Series length, those are just the games I play, and yes, viewership drops off. There's really not a whole lot I could do about that, and that's just something I have to accept. Game type, as I mentioned, popular versus not popular. There's not a whole lot you could do about that, but play style, there is something that I can do about it, and there were some comments here that I wanted to point out that I thought were actually really interesting. Broadsword6650 says, you play those games by thoroughly exploring and collecting everything, but then you neglect to use 95% of the items you've found. You make every game much harder for yourself by usually finding one weapon and sticking with it, or deliberately not using other skills or talents, not leveling up, etc. That is something that I really need to keep in mind, and it is so true. I don't know why I play my games like that, but I generally just stick to one thing and don't try other things. I feel like I did that a little bit in Elden Ring, though. I feel like I tried some different things, and I did it a little bit in Skyrim too, way late in the playthrough. I switched, from mostly just being a using my sword two-handed. I tried to use more magic. I started I guess it's conjuring, like Wrathman and stuff like that. Whereas earlier I was shooting fireballs. So I did try to mix it up. But for the most part, this is a very true statement that I generally neglect the stuff that I pick up. There's so much stuff, so many options, and it would be more fun, I think, for me and the viewer if I tried out different things. So I really like this comment. It's something that I'm definitely going to keep in mind. Kalendor Cray brings up something else. If you play a game blind with no information, make notes during playing the game about quests, locked doors, safes, info, and whatnot. But so often you just forgot about things. Your learning curve was not satisfying for me. Yeah, and that's kind of what I'm talking about. Well, it's not kind of. That is exactly what I'm talking about in my Let's Play of Baldur's Gate 3, and hopefully in future Let's Plays, such as Starfield, which I am going to play. In Baldur's Gate 3, I am taking notes. I am referencing those notes as I'm playing, so that, when I come across a character, if, I could look at my notes and be like, oh yeah, we met this character earlier, Or, if somebody mentions something that I don't remember, I could reference my notes and refresh my memory. And that's something that's very easily cut out of my video so that you don't have me going, oh, hold on a minute, let me look at my notes. I just did it in a video that I recorded last night where I was looking for somebody and I forgot his name. And so I checked my notes and got his name and then came back to the game and went on with the game. But I cut out the part where I looked up his name, because you don't need to see that or hear that. It's only a few seconds, but still it makes for a better product. And by taking notes, I should remember things. So hopefully that will make for a more enjoyable experience for the viewer and also help me enjoy the game more and learn and remember things more as I play it. Away to the Dawn makes a similar comment where they say, I see mention of how your recent playthroughs have been rough in some areas due to basic misunderstandings of game mechanics and not being able to follow story threads or put together context clues, etc. Again, hopefully by taking notes, I will remember things. And honestly, just the act of taking notes does help me remember things. And plus, when I take notes, I'm going back and rewatching my videos. So that also helps me remember stuff. So while it is time consuming and it is extra work, I think it'll be worth it, not just for the viewer, but for me too. Like I said, it'll help me enjoy the game more. This user says, I like your videos. I tend to turn it off when you start being afraid to die and not take chances. That is very true, especially in my earlier videos. If you watch my Dark Souls 3 playthrough, you'll see that I was extremely timid in that playthrough. I tried to pick at enemies from a distance with a bow and arrow. I have made a concerted effort to try to take more chances. There are still times when I do panic and run away, but I feel like that is something that I'm working towards. I'm not... If you've watched my videos, I'm not a pro gamer. I'm just some regular dude who plays games for fun. I'm just not that skilled, So when I come up against a tough enemy, I do kind of freak out and panic and maybe run away in hopes that I can gather my thoughts or try a different strategy or whatever. So that's why I react that way. But I am trying to be more aggressive in my play. And this user here, I don't know whether you've seen any of my recent videos, but hopefully you would notice a difference compared to my older videos. But this is also a good piece of advice. Wayward Game 6842 says, the problem with your videos is that you play everything on baby mod. And I guess you mean like an easy level. That's actually not true. I generally play the second hardest level in the games that I play, or at least I did when I first started this channel. Now, more recently, I have started choosing more of middle of the road difficulties because I am looking for more of a balance between, story, exploration, and combat. But I don't play on easy mode, so I'm not really sure why this user thinks that. They mention when I'm just breezing through the game, like Skyrim, for example. In Skyrim, I'm playing on legendary mode, so I don't know, what else I could do. I think it's the second highest difficulty level in Skyrim. I mean, I started off on one level, and I think I bumped it up 2 times since I played Skyrim. So yeah, I don't play on baby mod. I don't. I'm not sure why you think that, but yeah, I don't think that's the problem with my videos, but I do appreciate your comment. And then Lawrenceburg 5408 brings up something very interesting that I hadn't really considered. He says that later you turned your videos into comment-fed playthroughs. No longer were you making your own decisions. Now you are listening to what others have suggested. That's very true, especially in Skyrim. But in my defense, in Skyrim, I felt like I was trying to do everything you could possibly do in the game, so I was very open to suggestions from people who had played the game and were more familiar with it than I was. But no, that's very true. I think even in Elden Ring, people would leave suggestions, and I would, go off and try the suggestions rather than just playing the game. And it's, I don't want to say that I don't want suggestions, but I think that I could find more of a balance, or maybe, I don't know, make special episodes where it's just all viewer suggestions. I don't know. But this was something that I didn't really think about. But yeah, definitely something to think about. Spend more time playing the game. Also, as I try to role play more, I should be more focused on what I think my character would do, rather than just, following suggestions thrown out in the comments. Again, not that I'm going to ignore those, and even in role playing, I definitely want to hear people's comments about how I'm role playing, but I'm still the one playing the game, and I need to play the game. So I thought this was actually a really good comment, something I hadn't thought about. R. Bushy says, some of your vids annoy the crap out of me for one reason or another. Being too whiny, missing the obvious, etc., etc. You kind of go on tangents for minutes at a time, and I find myself saying, get on with it. I do get a little whiny sometimes when things don't go my way. When I get frustrated, it kind of comes out that way, and it's something that I really don't like about myself. And it's embarrassing that it gets recorded for everyone to see and hear. It's something I work on in my personal life too. So it is something that I am working on, fixing. So yeah, I can understand that that's totally not fun to watch. As far as my tangents, I don't know if there's anything I could do about that. I'm not really sure what tangents you're talking about here, but if you're just talking about like when I stop and like share a story or something that's totally unrelated to the game, that's just me. I like to think that people maybe watch my videos because I share things that are not game related. I feel like, I don't know, I kind of feel like a friendship with the viewer, even though I don't see you and you don't see me and we don't know each other. I feel like I just like to kind of share things with you guys sometimes. So I don't think that's going to change. You could always just fast forward past it, but I could understand that being a little frustrating. But as always, I appreciate the feedback and I like to hear what you guys think. So now I'm going to move on to some suggestions that you guys left. Here's one from viewer Rafties. They say, we have the voice, but we don't have a face to attach it to. I have no plans or intention of putting my face in my videos. It's just not, it was never my plan to do that. And I do understand that it probably would bring in more views because I'm very handsome. It probably would bring in more views because, then I could put my face with a surprised reaction in the thumbnail or something, that brings in a lot of views. I have and am considering starting a completely different channel where I talk about and share my love of I guess you could say vintage video and computer gaming. I have a pretty fair collection of old consoles and video games and stuff that it's fun to collect, but it's more fun to share with people. And I really don't have anybody to share it with, so I've been mulling over in my head creating a new channel where I share that kind of stuff. And I can't decide whether I want to be on camera or not. It's a tough decision. But if I were to ever be on camera, it would be on a new channel. It wouldn't be on this channel. But yeah, it probably would bring in more views, but I'm just not willing to do that. I just prefer doing this type of Let's Play. Viewer KCP-KP3 says, I would recommend expanding your portfolio, such as live platforms, such as Twitch, Kick, which I've never heard of, and maybe Facebook Gaming, to reach new audiences and to bring fresh new eyes to your content. Yes, I did try live streaming back during the pandemic when I got furloughed from my job and I was just sitting here all day, I tried live streaming just for an hour every day, every weekday. And that was, I did that, because I was sitting at home not working, but I also did it because I thought that it would boost my viewership and boost subscribers. But I really didn't see that happen, unfortunately. And to be honest with you, I did not like it. It was very anxiety provoking for me. I thought that if I did it regularly, that anxiety would go away. And that's one of the reasons why I took that opportunity to basically force myself to do live every weekday, hoping that if I did it enough, the anxiety would go away. But there's just, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's a stage fright thing or what, but there was just so much anxiety leading up to it. Once I got into it, it was fine. But leading up to it was the bad part. Like, I think I was live streaming at 1 p.m. or something. And like in the morning, my anxiety would continue ramping up as it got closer and closer to 1 o'clock. It's like, oh gosh, I gotta be live at 1 p.m. It's just, I don't think I'm cut out for that. But regardless, it didn't really seem to increase my viewership or subscribers. It was actually kind of disappointing. But having said all that, it was fun interacting with the viewers. I don't know if you were around back then, but it was fun. Everybody was super cool, and I had fun talking to people as I played. But unfortunately, just the anxiety beforehand kind of prevents me from trying that again. The Hawkey Man suggests maybe a highlight video for each game you play could help bring back some of your lurker subs. I think this is a really neat idea. And it's kind of something I've considered on and off over the years, either making a highlight video for each game I play or just making like one video that says, here's games I've played on my channel. You might not know about these, because I have 9 years worth of content on my channel, and I know that YouTube doesn't exactly have the best interface for searching for stuff. So maybe it's difficult to, hey, did Mental Fox ever play this game? Maybe it's not so easy to find that. So yeah, I've considered making a highlight video or making a single video where I mention previous games that I've played. So I really like this idea. Thanks for the suggestion. Sedgebo 8000 Gaming says, it also seems that making shorter form videos where you edit out all the boring moments helps keep viewers engaged. I think that probably is true, and I think that's why viewers or YouTubers like the Rad Brad are successful, because that's what he does. If you watch his playthroughs, he cuts out like so much stuff. Like just for example, in let's say you're playing Baldur's Gate and your party walks from here to here, he cuts that out. He just goes right from this conversation to this battle to this conversation to this thing. He cuts out all the in-between stuff. And that's certainly one way to do it. And apparently a lot of people like that because he gets tons of views. I don't think that I want to make that kind of product. I want people to like experience the game with me in real time as I play it. And I think that there is an audience for that. Also, I can't imagine how much time it must take to edit all that stuff out. I don't know if I have the time or the energy to do that. I have considered it though, and it's certainly something to think about. I know, Sedgebo, you have a channel of your own. Let me know if you try it out and if it works. I'd be curious to know. Tristan Burnt has a really, really interesting suggestion that I hadn't considered. They say, one thing I've noticed is that the way the videos are both structured and titled is a bit passive. What I mean by this is that I don't get the feeling like the video has a hook to get me pulled in and a goal or climax that the video is working towards. That is very, very interesting and kind of eye-opening, especially when you read this next part here where they say, it may seem silly, but if, for example, you're playing Baldur's Gate 3, and for one episode you find yourself talking a lot with Shadowheart, you could title the video Trying to Win Over Her Shadowheart, which I like. or something like that with a thumbnail featuring her. I think that is a brilliant idea. I'm not sure how that would work in a overarching Let's Play because, I generally play in 45-minute to 1 hour chunks and not in story chunks. So yes, if there was a video where I did spend some of the time talking to Shadowheart, I could title my video that, but then there's going to be more to the video than just that. And I worry that people would feel betrayed or lied to if they came to a video that had this title where only 15 minutes of a 45-minute to a 1 hour video was me trying to win over Shadowheart. That's just a concern I have because I didn't do exactly that, but way back in one of my very first playthroughs, Alien Isolation, I titled my video episodes the same name as the kind of like my current goals or quests in the game. Like, I forget what it's called. One of them is like find a way to the control center or something. It's not exactly right, but it was something like that. And that's what I titled the episode because that was the mission or quest that I had in that episode, but it was only part of that episode. And I remember I got so many comments from people saying, "You wasted my time. There's all this other stuff in here. All I wanted to do was find out how to get to the control center," or whatever it was. So that kind of shied me away from that. But this, I think, is a really, really good idea. You're right. It needs a hook. When I entitle a video, bandits or whatever, I don't know. I mean, how does that hook you in? You like you mentioned, when you look at video thumbnails and you decide which one to click on, you're going to click on the one with the catchy title. So I actually really like this idea so much that it makes me wonder how I could do it. It makes me think of like, instead of sitting down with, I'm going to play for 45 minutes to an hour, that I sit down and either play for an indeterminate amount of time and then chop it up into sections like this. I mean, every section couldn't be interesting, right? Or I, sit down with the intention of, okay, in this episode, we're going to do this, period. And then I could title the video more directly, like you suggest here. This is a great suggestion. I'm going to think about this. I don't know if I could make this work, but this might be something I try out at some point. So thank you so much for this suggestion. It's really good. Longtime viewer Emily Pasternak says, "I wonder if it's a question of target audiences and the fact that while your game choices do fall into rough categories, you don't have a specialty per se, other than your own Mental Fox style." That this is an interesting thought too. I mean, like, there are some Let's Players who just do RPGs, some Let's Players who just do, first-person shooters. And yeah, I just play wherever the wind blows me, I played Star Trek Resurgence, and then I was like, hey, let's play more Star Trek. And I played a 20-plus-year-old Star Trek Voyager game. And then I go into Dave the Diver. And then, now I'm playing Baldur's Gate 3. It's on a different channel, but still, it's like such a variety of games that, yeah, it's not like, hey, I'm going to go, check out Mental Fox's channel because I know he's going to be playing the latest sim game or whatever, So yeah, it's kind of interesting. I don't really have a specialty, you're right. But like you say here, other than my own style, I have to, like I said before, I'm going to play games that I'm interested in. And sometimes people just aren't going to be interested in them. And I understand that. I had a lot of people tell me in the comments, they're like, oh, the reason I haven't been watching is because, you're not playing a game that I'm interested in, or, I haven't played that game yet and I want to play it before I watch somebody else play it. I got a lot of comments like that, and I totally understand that. Totally understand it. But I think I'm just going to stick with what I want to play, and it'll just be one of those things where sometimes people will watch them and sometimes they won't. But, I go back to somebody like Christopher Odd, who's hugely successful. I don't think he has any particular specialty either. He plays games that he wants to play. And the good thing about him, though, and an advantage that he has over me, for example, is that, and I could be wrong about this, I have to think that he doesn't have a full-time job because he posts a lot of videos, right? So he's able to post multiple games at the same time on his channel with much greater frequency than I do. So at any one point, he may be playing 3 games on his channel. If you're not interested in this one, maybe you're interested in this one. Whereas I just simply don't have that kind of time. Got the full-time job. I have other interests outside of playing games and YouTube stuff. So yeah, I wish I could do that, but I can't. And that reminds me, a couple other people have made that same comment where maybe if you played more than one game on your channel at a time, you would keep people interested. And that's true. I used to do that, every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, I'd post videos from this game, and then every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, I would post videos from this other game. And that's good and bad. It's good because, there's more variety, but it's bad because now if you're interested in game A, you're only getting it every other day. And I don't know if that's a problem or not, but yeah, that was an interesting comment there, Emily. You're right. I don't have a specialty, and it probably does, result in lower views, but I don't think I'm going to make any changes there. I don't think I am. Maybe now that I have 2 channels, maybe I could make one channel specialize in one type of game. Maybe, I don't know. That's certainly a thought, something to think about. But yeah, I hadn't really thought about this, so totally thanks for bringing this up. I really appreciate your comment. This user here says, you have to start making shorter videos, and I don't mean splitting the Let's Play videos in half and making more, which is exactly what I used to do on my channel. Some videos need to be standalone ones, and others can be part of a series. It doesn't have to be gaming. You can add other things that interest you. Take a look at other YouTube gaming channels to get a feel of what works. This is something that I have always wanted to do, but have just never had the time or energy to do it. For example, I have a copy of the original Baldur's Gate for PC back in, what was that? Was that in 1999, I think? And I would like to do just a little video, 15, 20-minute video where I talk about Baldur's Gate, the original, show a little bit of gameplay, show the box, show the discs, just a one-off. I would like to do something like that I think maybe people would be interested in. But like I said, I just hadn't had the time or the energy to do it. So I think this is a really good idea and could get more people coming to my channel, and it's certainly something that I'm considering. But again, I don't think that Christopher Odd does that, does he? Not to my knowledge. But maybe, he's so big now that he could do whatever he wants and people are going to come watch it. Maybe in his early days he did stuff like that. I don't know. Another comment this user left was, also, I would change the name of your channel. I know everyone has been calling you Mental Fox since the beginning, but the name and logo can make a significant difference. The fox with the sunglasses doesn't look good, and if you were to ask others, many would agree with me. Well, let's put that to the test. If I remember, I'm going to put up a poll at the same time I post this video to ask you, my viewers, what you think of the Mental Fox logo with the red sunglasses. Personally, I love the logo. The very talented Jesper Mirtu created that logo for the channel and very generously just gave it to me to use. He's also created many other pieces of art. One of them, which hangs on my wall above my desk. When I started this channel, I looked at other people's Let's Play channels, and many of them have some really great artwork in their banner. And I didn't think I would ever have cool artwork. I'm not an artist myself. I'm not very good at drawing, and especially not on a computer. So I never thought that would happen. And then the stars aligned and this very talented artist watched and enjoyed my videos and created this amazing artwork for me. And so now I honestly believe I have one of the cooler logos for my channel. So it really does surprise me that someone would say they don't like the logo, but you know, we've all got our tastes and our likes and opinions, and that's totally fine, you know. But, you know, I'm going to put a poll up if I remember, and we'll see what the viewers think. I personally love it, but don't let my opinion sway your vote. I'd like to hear what you guys think. I think it's freaking awesome, and I absolutely love it, and I feel so lucky that I have it. So now I wanted to take a few moments and address some questions that I got as a result of my experiment video. Broadsword6650 asks, do your viewer numbers increase in winter? Well, that is an interesting question. Let's take a look. Here are the views of my channel for the last 365 days. You can see here, you know, it starts back in August of 2022 and goes through August of 2023. And, you know, I'm getting, 4,300 views on a good day, 4,600 views on a good day. I guess I see maybe a little bit of an increase in the winter time, maybe starting right about here, and then I don't know what happened in February. It drops off. I mean, maybe a little bit, and it looks like there's a real dip here in the spring, which is interesting. And then it starts back up. You know, started good here. I mean, this is totally based upon videos that I was posting at the time, obviously. But I would say, as a whole, no, I don't think that my videos, my viewer numbers increase in the winter months. Let's take a look at the year before. So this is roughly the year before, and you can see it's pretty flat. As a matter of fact, it looks like in August of 2021, to me, it looks like just a drop off. Yeah, you can see I used to get, 6,000, 5,000 video views, and it just really dropped off in 2022, except for this spike right here. Yeah, I'm not sure what happened here. But yeah, it does not look like I get more views in the wintertime, but it was an interesting question. Away to the Dawn asks a really interesting question. Have you noticed positive results when you're uploading videos for several different games throughout the week? This is a really interesting question that I hadn't thought about before. So I went out and went to YouTube Analytics and found a period of time, or two periods of time, where I think we can compare. This is, as you can see here, from December 1st through the 17th, 2021. This is a period of time where I was alternating Skyrim videos here and Deathloop videos here. You can see that Skyrim performed way better than Deathloop. This is the first 24 hours of video performance. So the first 24 hours in which I posted this Skyrim video, it got 355 views. And then, Deathloop only got 122. But anyway, when I was alternating in this time period, you could see, Skyrim, 355 views, 356 views, 353 views, very consistent views, 377 views, 378, 369, and 370. So around 370 in December of 2021 while I was alternating with Deathloop. And now this time period, this is February 26th to the 24th of 2022. Not that far from here. It's just like 2 months later, right? But here, this was a period of time where I was posting Skyrim every day. And you could see that here I was getting 279 views, 244 views, 253 views, 272 views. So, I mean, at least looking at this, get off there. I don't know why that's on there. At least looking at this, you could see that, I mean, at least in December, versus February, I was getting almost 100 more views in the first 24 hours, 377 here versus 292 here, right? So very, very interesting. Something that I certainly did not think about, at least in this little teeny tiny snippet of data that I'm looking at here, it sure does seem like doing the alternating thing results in more views. Don't know if that's a coincidence. Don't know if it's because December versus February, this is episode 347, whereas this is episode 319, maybe 30 episodes later, the viewership drops off. But I feel like these dates are close enough to each other that we've got a pretty good comparison here. And just from this, it does look like alternating every other day certainly results in more views. Definitely something that I'm going to try out again. Thank you so much for bringing this up. However, having said all that, something my girlfriend pointed out when I showed this to her, even though Skyrim was getting more views this week, overall for this time period, the number of views for the videos posted that week was actually less than the number of views for the videos posted this week. For this week, I made it the same time period, 8 days. For this week, my channel got 2,258 views in the first 24 hours of videos posted that week versus 2,445 views for the first 24 hours of videos posted this week. So very strange. Overall, the views are pretty close to the same. So I don't know what that means, but I thought I should point it out. And that will pretty much cover all of the comments that I wanted to discuss. Actually, there's a lot more comments that I wanted to discuss, but this video is long enough as it is, so I'm just going to go ahead and end it here. If I didn't feature your comment in this video, it doesn't mean that I didn't appreciate it or enjoy it or read it. I read every single comment. I appreciate every single one of them. Thank you so much. Yeah, I was just blown away by your support and all your kind words and your great suggestions. Everybody just was super, super cool. And I really enjoyed reading your comments. So let me know what you thought of this video. Is this something that you'd like to see every once in a while? Would you like me to do this, every once in a while, just, address comments that I get, answer questions? I don't know. Might be something fun to do. Just let me know what you think. Thanks again for your support, for watching this long video. And I hope I see you in a Let's Play video soon. Take care, everybody.